Да, когда монитор включу.
Hi, everyone. Kate and Andrew are here, and we're very happy to welcome you at our 8th Jet Talks live broadcast, which is dedicated to our favorite plugin, JetEngine, and its update actually. So, as you know, we just released a new update 2.9 of JetEngine plugin, which has a lot of really cool features and new functionalities that I'm pretty sure you will love the most. So, hello, Andrew. Hello, everyone who joined us, and everyone who will be joining us and who will be watching this live broadcast on replay. So, right now,
Yeah.
yeah, right now, I would
Hello,
like to
Kate.
pass the floor to Andrew.
Oh, yes, yes. Sorry. Hello, Kate, and hello, guys. So let's speak. Let's talk a bit about our new update, and then, as usual, go to your questions. Just give me a couple of seconds. We just released a new version of JetEngine. It's 2.9 version. And this version packed with some cool features. And we hope it's cool features. It will be cool features for you. To start, let's take a quick overview about these features, and then we will go deeply into our most heavy features of this update. And as I said, let's take a quick overview about features, what was presented in this update. And first one, it's import glossary options from the file. And so now you can load into your glossaries a huge amount of the data by using CSV or JSON file. You don't need to put all options manually. The best example, as for me, it's of usage of such functionality. It's a list of countries, because it's around 200 countries in the world, and you will be so tired if you will enter all these countries manually. The next one, it's a bit more complicated feature. It's calculated columns and grouping results for the SQL queries. And also we added advanced mode for the SQL queries, which allows you to write some complicated SQL queries manually inside Query Builder, and then use result of these queries inside Listen Read widgets or anywhere else. We will touch this feature again a bit later, and when when talking about charts, and I'll tell more about this feature when we came to charts. The next one is query results for the dynamic functions. It's also a bit complicated feature for someone who don't often use or require such functionality. In a few words, from now you can output any single value from your SQL query with the dynamic function tag inside Elementor. So now you, for example, can calculate some average values about your custom content type table, and so put this value inside your page, on your page. To be honest, this functionality has a lot different cases of usage, but it's mostly too complicated cases to speak about in this format. So I think maybe we'll cover them in some tutorials a bit later. And the main feature, first main feature of this release, as for our point of view, is external modules. So let's let's give me, yes, Kate, give me a possibility to share the screen and I will show you. Here it is. Oh, I hope you already see. Yes, we need this. We need this table. Oh, we need this screen. And as you see, from version 2.9, if you go to JetEngine main page in the WordPress admin dashboard, you will find two separate sections. First one is default modules, and second one is external modules. So at first, let's talk about a bit about why external modules. It's a separate section and not why this modules is it's not the same as modules in the section above. Give me a second. I found this part in my notices to don't miss anything. And as you know, all JetEngine plugin for a long time have some parts of functionality which could be enabled or disabled from the JetEngine options from this page where we located now. But even this functionality will be disabled, it still will the code of this functionality physically will be still presented in the JetEngine plugin. So it's code of the part JetEngine code, and if we need update code of some model, we need to update whole JetEngine plugin. And from update to update, this procedure becomes harder and harder because on each update it requires more and more testing, because we have new dependencies, because we working on different parts of the JetEngine at the same time, and all of these parts could be affected by this release. So we decide to, from now, to move such functionality, optional functionality, into external modules. External modules, it's as separate plugins which could be installed and activated directly from the JetEngine module screen. As you can see, for now I presented 6 external modules. And for example, take a look for dynamic tables builder and dynamic charts builder. If we will go to plugins screen, you can see that we have related plugins, JetEngine Dynamic Charts Builder and JetEngine Dynamic Tables Builder. How you can know if some plugin related to some module? You can press this button in the module on the module plane, and here you can see, for example, that for Charts Builder related plugin, it's JetEngine Dynamic Charts Builder. If you, for example, deactivate Tables Builder here, you can see that dynamic tables module also was deactivated. And opposite, if we will activate dynamic tables module here, related plugin will be also activated on this screen. Yes, here it is, and it's now again active. And as I said, from this moment and for the future, some new functionality, if this functionality not required to be part of the JetEngine core, it will be added as separate modules to make JetEngine plugin itself more lightweight and more easy to update and maintain. And also, it will be easier to update and maintain these modules itself. Because one more thing I forget to say it about, that these modules could be updated as usual plugins. For example, from this screen or from this screen. When we will release update for dynamic tables builder module, here will be appeared icon with update, with new version and update button. And one more important notice, that external modules could be activated only if you have activated your JetEngine license or Crocoblock license here in this section. License should be activated to allow you activate external modules. If not, it will give you a notice that you need to activate license before starting to install modules. And now let's proceed to modules, this modules itself. And first one is dynamic tables builder, and all sense of this module in the name of this module. It allows you build tables, regular HTML tables based on some dynamic data. I already prepared some examples for you. Sorry. Tables builder. And here it is. I already created products tables. Table. It's a table based on the WooCommerce products. I think it's most common case of dynamic table, which you asked us to add into the JetEngine or JetTalks builder or whole Crocoblock suite. But let's take into it. Let's go into it. Here it is the main screen with table settings. And as you can see, the table needs to work properly, need some query, data query. And it's a query from query builder, which was added with JetEngine 2.8 update. And queries, tables always based on queries from query builder. That's why you can output with tables any data that could be queryable with JetEngine query builder. And as you know, it's almost any data stored in your database, post tables or post terms, users, comments, any data from SQL tables, anything you want. Here is the button to make a sample request to the query builder to get the data for the table. This thing is we need to get example of the data which could be queryable by query selected in the table settings. And from this data example, we can get columns which could be available in your table. I will show you this on this stage a bit more detailed. So we have two basic types of columns which could be shown in your table. First type of column, it's a raw value. Raw value could be three times. I just realized why WooCommerce was not the best example for such case. I will show you one more thing on another example. And also you can see how fast you can add some table to your website. Let's for example, add some posts table. I don't have query for the post, so I will create new query, name it posts. And it's enough for me. Let's check if this query has any data, because it's clean installation. It has one post. One post, it's enough for us. Let's go back to the query table builder. Select our query and fetch the data. And data was fetched. And we'll add new column and select raw value. Raw value, it's some plain text which will be shown inside your column. And we have three types of raw values. First type is a fetched column. Why WooCommerce was not the best example? Because WooCommerce products query returns not plain columns, but the data which could be get from query result with some methods of WooCommerce itself. It's why it not has plain values and could not be used. This option could not be used with WooCommerce query and some other query types. But here we have it, fetched column. If you will select fetched column, it will return us all list of columns. The table builder was found in the query results. For example, post title. And if we will take a look into preview, as you can see, we get a table with single column, and this column value is post title. A second load option for raw values, it's object data, post or object field. This option is the same for dynamic field, the same object in the dynamic field. As you can see here, available all the default WordPress data, or also WooCommerce data. Also here will be added any CCTs data, any REST API endpoints data which you created for your website. So for example, we can output the same value, post title in this case, with a bit different way. We can select post object title here, and we will get the same value. As you can see, nothing changed. And last one is meta field or custom field. Here you can output any. It also works it's the same way, like same option in dynamic field widget of the JetEngine, and you can output here any metadata of your post or user or term. By default, it's only available for posts, I think, but not sure. Too much things changed in the development process. What you can do with this data you output here, you can filter this data. It's also works the same like in the dynamic field options. You enable filter column output option, and here you can have a list of callbacks available for this option. For example, let me change fetched column ID and select callback post page link. And as you can see, now I get linked title by the post ID. If I will disable this option, I will get plain ID of the post. Let's go back to our WooCommerce query and check more detailed about other options on the WooCommerce query. As I said, for WooCommerce, if you don't have any fetched column, you can use post-term user object field. It's a field from the default from the current object of your current queried item. So, for example, if you have query from WooCommerce product, queried item in this case will be single WooCommerce product, and object field it will be a field of WooCommerce product. Let's load preview to see what I added here. As you can see, I added column name and changed it in the same way as post. Here you can see one more case of one more settings used, or one more column settings used for raw values. It's customized column output. We can not only change column output with some callbacks already bundled with JetEngine, but also add any text we want. For example, in this case, I outputted WooCommerce product rating and this plain number, and added that this this rating has maximum value of 5. Also, one more interesting example of usage of this customized column output options is the usage shortcodes. In the case of the WooCommerce shortcodes, in this case it's WooCommerce shortcodes, or you can use any shortcodes you have on your website and which could be used in this common case. For example, for WooCommerce, I added add to cart button with customized column output and WooCommerce shortcode. By default, this column output only product ID, but if I put here WooCommerce add to cart shortcode and use this placeholder as shortcode argument, I can replace this ID with add to cart button of WooCommerce. And the second global type of column content you can use, it's template. Template, it's a template from a listing item. Here it is. If you select template as column content, you can select any listing item created on your website for the content of this column. Let's take a look at this template. Here it is. And as you see, in this template outputted only featured image, but also I can add any data as into usual listing item template, and then use this template, content of this template as column content in the my table. And let's take a look what changed in our table. As you can see, in our table outputted our updated template. And how, one more thing I want to say this step, that you can use any template you want with any output method you want. For example, if you outputted your table with Elementor widget, you can use as template for table column blocks template. The same as for listing. For example, if you outputted listing with Elementor listing read widget, you can still use as listing item template built with plain Gutenberg. So from the performance point of view, I recommend you, in this case, mostly use to blocks templates because they render a bit quicker than Elementor templates. And now let's proceed to output of this table to the page. The table could be outputted to the page with separate widget or separate block if you're using Gutenberg editor. It's block or widget named dynamic table. It could be found in the category with other JetEngine widgets. And as you can see, it output table in the same way like it was in preview, but styling a bit different. And this related at first with styles, table styles of your theme, because the styles not loaded in the preview part to keep preview as quick as possible. And also styles here could be set with Elementor widget setting itself. Here you can set some global styling. And for example, if you need some specific styles for some specific column of your page, these styles could be set in table builder. But here you can set only most specific styles, which could not be set inside Elementor widget, because Elementor widget don't know how many columns you have inside your table and what content is presented inside these columns, and that's why it can't build for you enough controls to add styles of any column you want. And even if we will add the styles, for example, for huge tables with this large amount of columns, it will slow down editor with a huge numbers. So we keep some basic styling settings here, basic styling setting for some columns. For example, if you want to add width to your column, if you want add some vertical alignment or horizontal alignment, you can set it here. Maybe in the future we will extend this list of styling options, but at this first list we added only most basic options.
Andrew, and as I see right here, we have a question about the header of the table. Can we make it sticky, or it will be available in the next updates?
Yes, such things will be available with next updates. In the first version, we made most basic functionality to make it most basic as we can, and to develop it in the future, driven by the some user request. For example, we could add much more options at the first stage, make this module or plugin much more heavier, much more slower, for example, by adding a lot of different options. And then we realized that users not uses the most of these options. We already made this mistake in the past with some our plugins. That's why from some point of the time, we with first initial releases of some functionality, new extra large functionality, we're adding on only most basic options. So if you will see a huge amount of requests on sticky option, we will add this. If not, you can always add this with plain CSS from your theme or customizer or Elementor custom styles or anything. Oh, Kate says me that we have only 4 minutes before our break, so I finish quickly with tables, and after a pause, we will proceed with chats. And last thing I want to say about tables, that these tables are compatible with our smart filters. Here I added some basic filters, for example. As you can see, all data in the tables filterable as usual with JetEngine listing grid and smart fields. And also it works with smart filters sorting filter. That's why we not added any sorting options inside the table at the moment, because this functionality will have conflicts between each other. I mean, if you will add sorting functionality into the tables itself, it will have conflicts with smart filters sorting. That's why we, at the moment, keep all things like it has at the moment: sorting and filtering and pagination inside smart filters, and outputting table data itself inside dynamic table module, and querying the data inside JetEngine query builder. And I think at this moment it's all I want to say about tables. So let's go to the quick pause and let's proceed.
So we're gonna have a short pause so you can get yourself some drinks, like coffee, water, or whatever you like, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, everyone. Hi again. We're back pretty fast. So right now I will pass the floor to Andrew again, and he will share some information on the topic of dynamic charts, which is pretty cool as well, as it will give you an opportunity to create the charts with dynamic functionality that will be a good addition to your website. So, Andrew, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Kate. I shared the screen. I hope you see the same as I see on my screen. And let's go to the charts. Charts from the core, it's pretty similar for the tables. It's different only with output method, but by setting the options, it's pretty the same, because for charts you also need to have some columns, and charts also based on the queries from query builder. So let's take a look. As you can see, the first screen, it's the same. Here you can set the chart name, select data query for this chart, and fetch sample columns from the query you selected. The second step will be a bit different from the tables, because here you need to select a type of chart you want to display. As you can see at the moment, we have 12 chart types allowed. And also at the moment, all charts are based on the Google Charts JavaScript source engine. Also, if we will, in the future, we will have such requests, we maybe add some other charts rendering engines, but can't say anything about the moment. So let's proceed with Google Tables or Google Charts, and here you can see type of the charts could be added. Then columns, pretty the same as for tables, with just one difference. You can use template type for charts, and it's pretty obvious as for me, because charts can work only with plain text or numbers. That's why we not added any template here. Any other settings are similar for the and also because they can't work with only with plain text and number data, we removed from here options for customizing output of this data. So charts can output only plain data queried from the current query builder instance selected in the chart settings. And the last one is charts configuration. It's also pretty basic at the moment, because we also was not sure what options you will be need mostly in the sections. In this section, but we added advanced options area where you can manually put any options allowed in the current chart type documentation. So if you will have some huge needs in some options, you always can add it with advanced options mode. Chart styles also pretty basic and the same. You can set only width and height of the chart. And let's draw the chart itself. And as you can see, the some data was drawn. And at this step, I will tell you a bit more about advanced SQL query mode, which we will also add it with this update and why it's so cool and what new possibilities will open for you with this query mode. From the start, let's a bit introduce this chat. This chat shows users registration dynamic on some my website during this year. As you can see, some data was lost. Looks like I changed something. Sorry. Let's take a quick look for our settings. Oh, here works like should. It should work. Oh, sorry, I changed settings here and missed this. Yes, now it works fine. As you can see, in January, there was 67 users registered and at my website. In the February 72, in the March 65, and as own numbers for each month. And how we can implement this for chat itself, don't have any difference for data you give to the chart. It requires, in this case, two columns. First column, it's month names, and second column, it's users count registered at this month. So all the magic, it happens in the query builder query, where we can get this data from our database. And this data could be get from the database because each user in users table in the database has user registered column. I show you this column to understand what I speak about. And here it is. As you can see at this website, I have only one user, and I have the date when this user was registered. And on my website, I have a big amount of users. Each of them has this column in the users database table, this value in this column. So I need to query this data from database table in the same way. Any default settings can't help me to query this data, and we even can add these settings because it will be too complicated to set up these settings on the screen. It will be such complicated, like learn SQL and write SQL query itself. So that's why we decided to add manual mode, advanced mode, where you can add some SQL queries manually. And here I have written such table. As you can see, this table, such query. Let's take a look more detailed into this query. As you can see, I selected count of user IDs as user count column. Also, I select month's name from user registered column as some M name column, and I selected months from user registered column and some M-num column. All this data I selected from the users tables and group it by month's name. What it mean? It means let's find our database table to make it more clear for you. I hope more clear. Users. As you can see, here I have a lot of users in my database tables. Each of these users have some users registered date. In my SQL query, I can group users by value of this column. As you can see, the value of this column is stored with pretty huge amount of the data. It's not only the date itself, it's also a time when user was registered. So it's a very little, forgot the word. Let's translate it quickly.
Andrew, and while you're translating, Helmut is asking, do we have to develop that query string ourselves? Or will there be any generator available?
Not so for such complicated queries, you need to write it itself. But very often you can find some examples of queries which cover some complicated cases already written on some forums, in some blog articles of the WordPress developers. So it's not a very big problem. I hope. And for people who knows some basic SQL and want to use it with JetEngine features, it also will be much more easier to just paste SQL query here and then use it to anywhere you want, for tables, for chats, for listing grids, for any custom variables you want to output with dynamic functions there. So as I said, for this column, we have very little probability, new word for today, that we have two users with the same date and the same time registered. That's why we, for our query, in this case, use only month's name and year of user registration. That's why all our query results will be grouped by months when user registered. And into where it is? Yeah, here. And also we query into our query result count of users with this count ID function, and name and number of the months we need. And then use this data. As you can see in the preview, I get data for all months and users count for all months. And I can use this data for my chart or table, for example, if I want to showcase this data with the table, or if I want to showcase this data with plain listing grid, I can use it with listing grid. But what's most interesting thing for most part of our users, this query pretty difficult, and to write it, you need to search some information in the internet and specific forums about MySQL. But if you want just to group any data from some database table and calculate some values by this data, you can use it with SQL query settings from JetEngine 2.9. For example, if you have user country column and very stored country from user came to us, where your user lives. Countries list will not be such different like user registered date and time, and countries will be repeating with some will be repeating. That's why you can group your users by countries and, for example, showcase geo chart with data on the map, visualize it, how many users from which country registered on your website. You can do this, as I said, by playing WooCommerce or SQL query settings. Let's imagine that we have this column, and this column also named users registered to show you how it works. It query will not return us any results, but we expected. But I can show you how it works, how it could be set. For example, we want query any data from the table users, and we want to group results of this query by some column of this table. For example, it will be user registered, and if as we imagine it, here will be stored the country from where user lives. When we enable these options, we will get a list of countries. Yes, we will get a plain list of countries. And then if we will add some calculated data into the square result, for example, ID, user ID, and count of user ID. In this case, it will be returned, as you can see now, it's returned for me always 1, because for such settings I set, we have only 1 users with this exact date and time registered. But if the data in the users registered column will be repeated, here we will have different numbers. Let's give me 1 second. Maybe I found. Oh yes, I found. I will find you the example. For example, let's get the post number of posts added by some author. Here we need table posts, group results by post author, and yes, the same ID and count. And as you can see, this query returned to me the single result. It's some object with count 120. It's because at my website I have only 1 user who added the post. But if, for example, I will change some posts author to, let's change it directly in the database. SQL query. I not save it, unfortunately, but we can replicate it quickly. count. And now you can see I have one post by some author. Let's add this author ID into our query results. Yes, as you can see, I have one post by author with IT2 and 119 posts with post author 1. And then I also can showcase this data with, for example, table or chat or any other way you want. So with this functionality, you can build pretty complicated queries with for pretty interesting cases in the mostly visual way. And from now, also, if you have some really complicated cases, but you found the solution somewhere in the internet, you can also use it with JetEngine custom SQL queries by using advanced mode query. It's all I want to say for today. It was very complicated because really complicated topic for me, too much information. So now let's proceed to your questions.
Okay, so Andrey, we're back. We don't see your screen right now. We see you. So you can smile to the guys. As for the questions, I see that our support team is doing a great job actually answering most of them. There were a couple of questions actually. One of the first ones, Zaid Al-Ahmar asked the question, does this mean you can now pull repeater data and display them in a table since there is no way to display their information now in CCT? And
no, repeater data is still could be output in as table only with dynamic repeater widget. As for CCT, support for full support for outputting repeater data is on the roadmap for, I think it's already for some closed releases because we already closed a lot of big tasks which stopped us from diving deep into the custom content types, into the maps, into your requests by list. And now we, to be honest, we have only one huge task to complete. It's rebuilding relationship functionality to make it more user-friendly and more powerful. And then we will have much more resources and time to dig deeply into some parts of our Crocoblock which not completed yet. So I hope in the short time we will start to deliver features much quicker. And also external models feature will help us to deliver new functionality quicker because now we can develop a huge part of functionality separately without stopping releasing cycle for all JetEngine plugin.
Great. That's amazing, actually. And as I can see, there are a couple of questions about our future plans, like what is planned next? What is planned for JetEngine 3.0? Can we uncover some of the big updates?
Yes. It's no any mysteries here. Closest updates will be, as I said already, relationship functionality because it now limits us from building some really cool things. For example, at the moment, we almost can replicate such service as, for example, Upwork, not only without chat between users. I mean, adding job offers, adding user profiles, and applying users to the offers, and then for author who posted the job, he could apply or decline, or accept or decline applied user. And relationship functionality is one of the main things which stopping us from complicated such case. That's why we will start to work on it, I think, in next 1-2 weeks. Also, with one of the newest releases of the JetEngine, we will add possibility to quick edit some type of meta fields directly on the post list screen. Like default WordPress quick edit functionality. For example, you will be able to add on fields here, and also for custom content type, you will be available to add own fields into custom content type quick edit. As for 3.0, so huge update, we also have some plans for this update, and these plans mostly related to changing user experience of JetEngine plugin, making it more easier for new user, making more easier to communicate between different parts of JetEngine plugin, because at the moment, for example, if you build in some complicated functionality, you need to keep opened 3, 4, 5, or even 6 different tabs in your browser. I say it as for me. For example, if I build in something complicated with JetEngine, I keep in couple of browser tabs open it all the time and switching between these tabs all the time. It take a lot of time, and we want to remove this boring job and make it more user-friendly, and also extend some other parts of the chain, make more user-friendly some other parts of the JetEngine. Also, for example, the first step of such improvements, it was our edit with Jet plugins. Kate, could you please share my screen for a second?
Just a second.
For a minute. Yes, already. I said about this thing, edit with Jet plugins. At this moment, we add in all the plugins data which was met on the page into this drop-down menu, and you can go to editing, for example, directly products query from the front-end page. In the past, you was need to go to the listing settings, take a look what query used, go to query builder page, and click edit button. And from now you can do this in just one click. And when we will gather a lot of such improvements, when we implement some admin UI for such improvements, I think we will name it JetEngine 3.0, because it will be, we hope it will be a totally new approach in building dynamic sites, websites with JetEngine. So let's go to other questions.
Yeah, so just a second. There are a couple of them actually. Jimmy Sheehan was asking, also, any idea when a media uploader with more advanced functionality will be coming? Are there any plans for the media uploader?
If media uploader, you mean media uploader for forms builder? Yes, we have some plans to extend it, and we really have at the moment a lot of plans for extending form functionality. At the moment, I just can say that it's not in the release plan for the next 1 or 2 months. It's more later feature, but yes, we planning to make some improvements into uploading files, uploading functionality.
Also, there was a couple of questions. There were a couple of questions actually about jet booking, about data stores comparison, and also, are there any plans for flexible content fields? So what can you say about this?
To be honest, at the moment we not planned exact this type of the field. But from now, with this external modules functionality, I think we became more open for any not usual, from our point of view, for our point of view suggestions, because now, as I said, and we'll say in the future again and again, it's much more easier to add any new features with separate external modules. So why not, maybe? And what question was about JetBooking and data stores comparison?
Yeah, so there was a question for any plans, like are we planning to update jet booking soon, and if we are planning to implement data stores comparison, some new things, new functionalities.
Yes, we constantly working on the jet booking and jet booking and jet appointments plugin. We also have huge plans for these plugins, and I can say at the moment when closest updates of these plugins are planned. But yes, it will be, I think, in the near future. And as for data store comparison, now with the tables builder, we have a much more possibilities to make this feature real in the future. It's not, it still can be used for plain comparison functionality, like on in the specific plugins, but we will work on this. The most problem at the moment it's reverting columns and cells, because people usually reading tables, comparison tables not exactly in the same way as at the moment our table is built. And the second issue we need to complete with fully functional data store comparison, it's highlighting difference. When we will resolve these issues, you will get fully functional data stores comparison with JetEngine and data tables builder.
Okay, so
can we use yes Arlene, question about can we use queries from a query builder in the Elementor native post widget in the query ID field? Unfortunately, no. At the moment and in the future, it also can be used because Elementor posts widgets is developed to work only with WordPress posts, and most of code inside this widget is related only to WordPress default WordPress posts query. JetEngine query builder works with any data you queried from your database. That's why it works with this data in a bit different format. So these things could not be at the moment complete. So any other questions?
Yeah, there also was a question. Can Query Builder be override or include the value with JetSmart filters?
Yes, of course. Just the values inside query, the values of Query Builder could be override by smart filters, and it's actually work in this way at the moment. But you need to use some output provider to show the data to the page, and then filter this data. And how it works? You have filter, you have query built with Query Builder, and you have some widgets, for example, listing grid, which showcase this data on the page. And when you apply some filter to this listing grid widget, it change values inside the query, which this widget uses, and then widget renders new data with filtered query items. So yes, it already works in this way.
And here's a question about charts, dynamic charts. So is it possible to use logarithmic scale rather than linear? Sorry. I don't know what's wrong with my English today. Sorry, Helmut. Yeah, so maybe you can show all available charts that we have, like right now, or you know what? You can show our new page, the one that we've created. Oh. Hi guys, we're back. Sorry, we lost the count of time. So, yeah, we were talking about the examples, right, of different types of charts that are available. So, yeah, I guess Andrew will share the screen in a minute and we will show you the demo of the charts, tables, and also the REST API functionality connected with the tables so you could get the statistics. Right, Andrew?
Yes, 1 second.
Yeah, so.
And here you can see some examples. But if we return to question about logarithmic rule inside for chart inside of usual scale, at the moment, to be honest, we not tested such case because we during this model development we tested it on some limited cases which we, for example, found in the internet or randomly query some data from our database tables or imagine some cases from our brains. That's why it could be a bit limited at the moment, but the main point that we want to gather feedback during next few months and improve the chats in the way our users want. As for now, for example, you can see, as I said, geodata chats, regular linear charts, some columns charts, and also tables. Also, some pretty example of sortable table, filterable table, and also, as you can see, if you have a huge amount of the data, it can be scrollable. Something like this at the moment. Let's proceed to the questions.
So there was a question from Success Team. When can CCT be compatible with WPML?
Oh, I answered to this question on the one of our previous JetTalks sessions. At the moment, we not have exact plans about this functionality implementing because, as like we, from our point of view at the moment, I not say that it can be changed in the future, but in the moment we see this as, if you want use translatable data like CCT, it's better to use regular post types because the main purpose of developing custom content types was a quick access for huge amount of the data. For example, if you have 500,000 or 1 million records in your database, and you want to query some data from such amount of records or filter such amount of records, custom content types will be much more quicker than regular WordPress post types and regular WordPress queries. But if we will add WPML support to custom content types, it will be the same from the performance point of view as regular post types. And in this case, it's better to use regular post types, I think, because it's much more better integrated into default WordPress system. As I said, I'm not sure that it's our final point of view. It may be changed in the future, but at the moment, we're not planning to add make custom content types fully compatible with WebML.
And also there was a question if it's possible to duplicate the tables. It's possible to duplicate the columns, but the tables, I think not yet, right?
Yes, not yet, but
We can add it, I think.
It's a feature which could be added easily. I'll write it into my notebook and
You
to not
see,
forget
now
about
you're
this and add it.
suggesting already new features. And guys, don't forget that we have the GitHub page, right? So just stop by the GitHub page, share your thoughts, your suggestions, your ideas that you have, or things that you need. For example, you really need some kind of functionality, but it's not available. So share your thoughts right there on the GitHub page, and our developers will surely take a look at it and think what we can do to implement it and make your life a bit easier.
Yes, we at the moment cover these issues not so quickly as we want, but we already closed around 2,000, 1,700 and something. So as you see, we already do a lot of work, but we have much more work in the future.
For sure. Yeah, a question about CCT. Is it possible to insert CSV into CCT?
Oh yes, it's also planned to the one of the closest release. Forget to mention this functionality when speaking about future updates. It's also already in progress, so it will be released under 2.10. I mean, it will be 2.29, 2.9.5, for example, or something else.
Rodrigo is asking about membership updates.
Membership, at the moment, we updating these different parts of the appliance. For example, when we updated some dynamic visibility conditions, it also related to membership updates because it's all about show hide some content for the user. When we updating forms, for example, it's also updating membership functionality because you can now, for example, use Stripe as payment method for your users, for payment for users for registering your website. And the same situation will be in the future. I mean, the membership functionality will be extended with updates of some others Crocoblock parts. So again, if you need some specific membership functionality part, just let us know and we will research this issue. Maybe it's related to some other Crocoblock parts and we will release it with them.
And also there was an interesting question. Can Query Builder preview also display the actual code it's actually using to display in JSON format?
Not exactly understand. Could you please, Kate, send me this question?
I just sent it to you.
Yes, thank you.
Guys, why are you so lazy today? I don't see a lot of questions. Usually you're like, spamming those questions right in the chat. But today it's pretty calm.
If you mean to display results of the query, performant query in JSON format, to copy it and paste and then to save it as file and then use it anywhere. At the moment, there is no such functionality, but it's really good idea. I also write it because it's easy to implement, and in some cases it could be very usable.
Another new feature is coming. Thank you guys, actually. Thank you so much for all those ideas because, it's really, really amazing. Yeah. So as far as I can see, there are no other questions, right? Are you sure? Like final call. Are there any questions left? Yeah, just don't hesitate to share those questions with us right now so we could answer them. In other way, we will probably have to say goodbye to you and go home and enjoy the evening or anywhere else. Yeah, and also as for the tables builder, dynamic tables builder, the video is coming in very soon. So it will be on the topic of WooCommerce products. So if you're using WooCommerce JetEngine and its main functionalities, then you will surely see the video and find out how to basically create this table and how to use it. Yeah, so as I can see, there are no questions as for now. So thank you so much one more time for your ideas, for sharing your feedback, for staying with us during this live broadcast and basically asking your questions. Also, doesn't matter if they're related to this live broadcast or not, if they're related to any other questions regarding other plugins. So when will 2.8 actually live? It's 2.9 Helmet, and if I'm not mistaken, it was released today, right? Andrey?
Yes, it was released
Yeah.
in an hour before starting our broadcast.
Oh, and also the guys are asking if it's possible to show Elementor templates, but in the tables builder. But the template option is using listing, right?
Yes, at the moment is using listing, but I'm not sure. Maybe we will also extend it for Elementor. At the moment, we stand only on the listing because this template will use dynamic data in some way. That's why, and listing itself, JetEngine listing itself, a bit more prepared to work with dynamic data than Elementor templates. For example, if you query some content types data, or if it's plain SQL query, there will be some problems with preview of this data in the Elementor templates. But for listing item templates, you just can select as source the same query as for the table, and you can preview the same data as for the table. That's why at the moment we stand only on the listing item as template sources.
Okay. There are a couple of questions. Is it possible to allow registration to membership via WooCommerce in JetEngine?
I think it will be also some extension from JetForm Builder. For example, now we releasing compatibility between Jet Form Builder and WooCommerce, and maybe it even could be cover this case, because membership in WooCommerce is also a product, and with Jet Form Builder you will be available to fill the JetEngine form and then proceed to WooCommerce checkout, and complete all actions inside JetEngine form. For example, register user, for example, adding, sending some emails, inserting posts, or any other things you want, and then move your client, your user, to WooCommerce checkout, to complete WooCommerce checkout.
Okay, here's an interesting one. It looks like you're getting further and further away from Elementor. Does it still make sense to rely on Elementor, or do we have to switch completely to Gutenberg?
It's interesting question, and as for our point of view, we're not going further away from Elementor. We just
extending the opportunities,
yes, extending opportunities, and we make our plugins parts which could be independent. We make it independent without any builder dependencies, and all the things which cover some functionality which related to the output something to the page, it's still very related to Elementor and also extended to Jet Form Builder. So it's totally up to you. If you like Elementor and want to continue to use Elementor, you can do it, because we will continue to our support for Elementor. We will develop new features for Elementor. We will extend our functionality related to Elementor. But also, if you like a new WordPress editor, blocks editor, or if you like any other page builder, you can use the parts of our plugins which are already builder independent. For example, listings, which can be added with just blocks editor, and then can be used inside almost any editor with some shortcode or any blocks, because almost any page builder allows you to output some blocks editor created code.
Will we have Gutenberg theme builder soon? Continuing the topic.
WordPress itself planning to release some similar functionality, which named it as full site editing. So yes, I think in the near future we will have some functionality which pretty similar theme builder with a native WordPress builder, but I'm not sure when they plan to release it, and in what stage it will be released from the start, because WordPress, and we actually getting this idea from WordPress, very often releases some new functionality on the basic stage and then extend it by some maybe users feedback, or maybe by their own roadmap.
Okay. Yeah, there was a question if there are any plans for new plugins. Are we planning on implementing other new plugins?
At the moment, only as external models for JetEngine. As I said, it all will be new plugins, and also as new add-ons from Form Builder and JetEngine Forms. It also all these add-ons are implemented as new plugins.
Does inserting templates to table make it as heavy as a listing grid?
Yes, that's why we make it optional, and that's why we develop in such functionality so long time. We searching the solution how to make tables as much quick as possible. That's why, as I said, inserting template, it's optional, and you can use it only the columns where you need it, and with any other columns you can use plain data. Also, you can use Gutenberg based templates, and these templates will be quicker than Elementor templates. Привет. Oh, Kate.
And also there was another question. Just a second, I guess I lost it. There we go. Question from Brad Fisher. Are you planning to enhance performance and decrease code bloat?
Yeah, planning, and we constantly working on this. As I also said in previous our sessions, JetTalk sessions, for example, query builder itself, it was a step into increasing performance. For example, adding support for listing, Gutenberg listings.
You can say hi. Sorry,
it
Andrey.
also.
Hi guys, sorry for interruption. Hey everyone.
Yeah, it's Julia.
Hey Julia.
Yeah, so sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. And also, as I said, Gutenberg based listing items, it also was performance increase. Also now we working on Jet Smart filters, refactoring indexer functionality to make it more quick. Also custom content types, it was a step into increasing performance. So we constantly work on this, but it's not process that could be completed in some magic step. It's step by step by step process.
Effort. Yeah.
And we all of the time searching some more parts where we can improve performance.
Can you use the table builder to create a comparison table for product comparison for affiliate marketing sites?
As I said before, for pretty similar question, just about data store and comparison table. At the moment, yes, it could be used, but it will not be exactly the comparison table that people usually see on other websites. We need to make some adjustments into this module functionality to make it fully comparison mode compatible.
And also there was a question about JetForm Builder. What features will be added to this plugin? What is on the roadmap?
Form Builder?
Yes, JetForm Builder.
1 second. Sorry. because as for JetEngine, I take it all in my head, but as for other plugins, I need to read something in different resources.
All this, masses of information, tons of information, to keep it in your head, it's you would be, I don't know, more than a genius if you could keep it all in your head. So it's great to have notes, and it's great to have the roadmaps for each plugin. And I'm pretty sure guys will support me in this, right?
And so as for JetForm Builder, for now we have some more integrations with third-party services. Also, very cool feature, it's hierarchical selects. At the moment, only select for the select field type it will be available. I mean, step-by-step selecting something. For example, you have at first step only one select field available, and the others are blocked. When you select some option in this field, the new options will be loaded in the next field. It's pretty same like hierarchical filters in the JetSmart filters, but at the first version, this functionality also will be a bit limited with using some taxonomy terms as options. Also, we planning to add custom values for checkboxes in radio, supporting custom values, image choices for also checkbox and radio field.
Will you add listing grid to checkboxes in JetForm Builder?
Yes. It's also maybe image choices feature, which are already added to the roadmap of the JetForm builders as image choices. Maybe it will be implemented exactly as supporting of JetEngine listing items as a template for checkbox or radio field. So
Josip is asking for Jet Booking plugin. Is it possible to know what feature will be in the next update?
As I know, it's already in the work. Some big update for Jet Booking in the process at the moment, but
started talking about JetEngine, and right now we're talking about JetForm Builder, Jet Booking, and so on, just as usually. Guys, when you will learn to prepare the questions that are actually related to the topic? Because, they're interesting use cases, interesting ideas. I guess and it's useful to discuss it as well, so yeah. Just keep that in mind for the next live broadcast, to prepare the questions that are related to the subject. Yeah, go ahead, Andrey.
As Jet Booking, it's really hard to find right now. So Jet Booking roadmap we will left to our next broadcast. Maybe our next JetTalks will be related to Jet Booking itself. Who knows?
Yeah, so guys, we are talking already for almost 2 hours. I guess we will wrap it up right now. And okay, I'll pick the last question. Is it possible to filter CPT faster in any way?
At the moment, it's mostly question not exact filtering, but listing items you use. for filtered listing read. I mean that at this moment the easiest way to improve performance of filtering, it's use block editor listing item and not Elementor. I mean block editor, listing item, and some custom CSS or some custom or some styles added with Jet Style Manager. And for example, Elementor listing grid widget. It may be not so powerful from creating single listing item. I mean, block editor not so powerful, but it will be definitely much more quicker. And in the future, we also, as I said, I think we will add some improvements into filtering itself. For example, now we rewrite an indexing functionality, and maybe we want to use in the future indexing functionality like performance booster for all filtering process itself. But at the moment, it's still not on the such stage of complete to speak a lot about this.
Okay, so Andrew, we've got a couple of questions left. Would you like to answer, or there's one I sent you?
Is it possible? Yes, reading it right now. Is it possible to query CCT in a template page by parameters? To be honest, not clearly understand the question. Could you please specify a bit?
Yeah, so maybe it's the question from Nabi Studios. Maybe you can ask this question to our support team, and they will pass it to our developers. You can just, clarify it, give some examples, and we'll try to answer the best way we can and as fast as possible. So guys, thank you so much one more time for joining this live broadcast. It was a, really, really great experience talking to you today.
Sorry, Kate.
Yeah.
Cannot the studio specified
yeah.
question, request parameter. Yes, you can query the data by parameters from the request by using the macros query variable. And you can add into this macros request argument name you want to use. And when the data will be queried, it will be used the actual parameter from the URL string.
Okay, great. So thank you so much, Andrew. Thank you for taking your time and, spending these 2 hours with us and sharing all your ideas on how you can implement this or that functionality and what is going to happen soon, what features will be implemented in the new updates of our plugins. So guys, thank you one more time, the 3rd time already for today, right? Thank you so much again for staying with us. Thank you for your ideas, for the fact that you are so active in the chat, live chat, in the community, on the GitHub page, like everywhere, because you're our inspiration. You're the ones who basically support us, inspire us to create those cool features so that they could basically ease in your life and make your website building experience even better, even more enjoyable, and of course faster. So if you still have any questions, don't hesitate to contact our support team. They are right there to assist you, to help you, to answer your questions. Also, don't forget about our Zoom calls. If there are any like situations that you're not sure, you cannot figure out how to implement this or that, how to build something, or you have an idea and you simply don't know what to do with it. So yeah, don't hesitate to hop on the Zoom call and talk live with one of our support agents, and they will surely be really happy to support you and help you. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Thank you so much. I see a lot of smiley faces, a lot of thank yous as well. So thank you guys.
Yes, thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Yeah. Have a lovely weekend. Goodbye.